Good evening, you're watching The Buck Stops Here and I'm Barkha Dutt. On the program this evening, our main political debate, the media is often accused of being fixated with secularism. Is secularism a media fixation or is it a political non-issue? That's what we'll be asking on the program this evening as we ask whether in the battle for 2014, it is now impossible for parties to win votes on secularism alone. Is secularism a favourite pastime of television studios or is it germane to the idea of India? That'll be a big debate tonight. Also coming up on the program, now rewards for a recruitment drive for BJP members who get the maximum recruits. They get a dinner date with Narendra Modi.
We intend to do about a crore a new enrollment for BJYM Pan India. So till yesterday numbers, if I share, we did approximately about 1.5 lakhs.
Also coming up later on the program, before there was Ila Bhatt and Seva, there was Anusuya Sarabhai, a special exhibition commemorating the first major woman trade union leader of India.
I think it was she who changed the course of labour history. So Gandhiji came much later, and then Gandhiji, I think, learned from her.
Let's get started with our big political story this evening. Narendra Modi continues to occupy star billing in the BJP's hierarchy. Now, as a way of creating an incentive for BJP members to bring in more new members, there's a special reward dangling for the recruitment drive, and those who bring in the maximum number of new members will get to have dinner with the Gujarat Chief Minister. Siddharth Pandey brings you the story.
मैं दिल्ली की सल्तनत को आवाहन करता हूं।
विरासत की बदौलत
Dinner with Bollywood celebrities as a marketing tool, no longer restricted to product launches or films. In fact, the party with a difference now taking a leaf out of the advertiser's handbook, offering those who excel in the latest recruitment drive for the youth wing of the BJP a chance to sit down with Narendra Modi.
So what does it take to be at the table with Narendra Modi? The first 500 who enroll maximum youth members will get a place. Also, 20 of the new youth members who come up with the best ideas for an outreach on social media will also win a chance to meet Modi. But is it working?
In fact, we intend to do about a crore a new enrollment for BJYM Pan India. So till yesterday numbers, if I share, we did approximately about 1.5 lakhs.
And while Modi is still to be confirmed as the BJP's prime ministerial candidate, the youth wing of the party has wasted no time to project Modi as its main draw. The party has also set a target of 1 crore youth members by the end of September. But his rivals just rubbish all the social media hype around Modi.
I think the voters in the country are very intelligent, and BJP's again attempt to play the Hindutva card, to play the religious card, is what is the worrisome thing. That they are trying to whip up these feelings of religion and hit at the very basics of our pluralistic society.
Today, this poster of Modi calling himself a Hindu nationalist drew a sharp attack from the opposition. SP leader from Mumbai, Abu Azmi, has lodged a complaint with the Election Commission seeking action against the BJP's poster boy. Will such polarization work in Modi's favour or against him? Now in charge of the party's poll committee, a lot hinges on him, both personally as well as for the party's fortune in the upcoming election. With Siddharth Pandey in New Delhi, Rohit Rajan for NDTV.
So on to the political punch on the buck stops here tonight. We're asking whether secularism is in fact a political non-issue. Is it something that fixates the media but has very little impact on the voters? And is it something that has now become an empty slogan, or does it remain germane to the idea of India? Secularism is a political non-issue on the political punch tonight. Joining us now is Manishankar Iyer. He's of course a senior leader of the Congress party. Also joining us tonight, Professor Ashutosh Varshney, a director with the India Initiative at Brown University, also a consulting editor with the Indian Express. With me in the studio, Lord Meghnad Desai, well-known commentator, also Professor Emeritus with London School of Economics. Also with us in the studio, Madhu Kishwar, well-known commentator, writer and activist. And joining me tonight as well is Ashok Malik, senior commentator and journalist. We'll also be joined by Javed Akhtar, Member of Parliament and well-known lyricist, shortly. Manishankar Iyer, let me start with you. The Congress has invoked secularism in a year when many people believe that this election should be about not a secularism deficit as the Congress alleges the BJP suffers from, but from the governance deficit that the UPA government's dismal performance has reflected. Secularism, in other words, is now being seen by many as an excuse to not focus on governance, which seems to, or one would imagine, matters to voters above everything else. What do you believe is the relevance of secularism electorally today?
I don't care. I don't care what the relevance is electorally. What I do care is that India cannot last without secularism. Secularism is the bonding adhesive of our nationhood, and if secularism is to be treated as a political football, then I think our nation is in danger. My own line is exactly the line that Jawaharlal Nehru took in 1952 when he said he didn't care whether he won or not, but he was going to oppose communalism tooth and nail. And I think in the emergence of this character, this ghastly character as the leader of the BJP, we are seeing a really serious threat to Indian secularism arising, and that therefore it is the duty not only of congressmen but of all secular Indians to pit themselves against this attempt to impose a non-secular ethos upon our country.
Ashutosh Varshney, when Manishankar Iyer invokes Nehru and says secularism is not an option, it's an imperative, that India would actually collapse without it, do you believe that he has a point? And if so, why has it become a word that is so treated so cynically today? How did we come to a point where secularism for some is a bad word?
Well, because secularism, as Mani rightly puts it, is, to use our language, a master narrative of Indian politics, a story, a master story that Indian politicians have told to Indian society about the basic cleavage or basic issue in Indian politics, or how to keep India together. Now, this master narrative has been there for over 100 years, and because it's so important to Indian society, it can be cynically used. It can be cynically manipulated. Therefore, you can get both a deep commitment to secularism, which Mani has, and you can also get a very cynical manipulation of that for electoral purposes, making many people very uncomfortable with the idea of secularism.
So the question would then become whether secularism is an ideal, as an ideal of the Indian nation state has to actually be separated from the politics of secularism. Ashok Malik, you wrote a very interesting column that actually inspired this debate tonight. You said outside of television studios, nobody cares about secularism. It is a political non-issue. No, yet Ashok, you find that it is constantly being invoked by the major political parties, either to support it or rebut it.
No, I didn't quite say nobody cares for secularism. I said the secularism, communalism, or the Hindu-Muslim debate, which is what it's a euphemism for, is not happening outside television studios in respect to the coming election season. I completely agree with Manishankar Iyer and Ashutosh Varshney when they say secularism as an ideal is non-negotiable. The idea of a state that is above religion, above all religions, and does not play favorites between one religion and the other is absolutely non-negotiable. No Indian would to my mind, go against that. That was not what was the subject of my article. The subject of my article was this, that television studios and to some degree the Congress are going on and on about this election being a compelling election where secular people are pitted against communal people, and that is the only priority which will inform people's votes. I don't see that happening outside television studios and outside the Congress propaganda machine, frankly, because most people are looking at this election, to my mind, from what I have seen and spoken to people, to my mind, most people are looking at this election in terms of the Congress's performance over the past 10 years, especially its economic performance. They are not really looking at this election as a great Hindu-Muslim election. Previous elections may have been Hindu-Muslim elections, but this one does not seem to be one.
Mani, would you agree with that? Mani, would you agree with that argument that as an ideal, of course, secularism has to be a given. The diversity, the pluralism of India is a given. But the moment you mix it up with elections, the moment you mix it up as a criteria for electoral performances, that's where Ashok Malik says this is an election that the media is imagining, not the one that's actually unfolding.
It is a given for you, Barkha, it's a given for Ashok Malik, it's a given for me. But it's not a given for that horde, that bunch that has pushed this man Modi up in the manner in which it has, and the way in which they believe that by hanging on to his coattails they're going to ride to power.